This is the Sean Hannity Show.
All right, 25 till the top of the hour. 3 weeks from today, Election Day, USA. And if you don't realize this is a tipping point, I don't know. I don't have many more words to use at this point to convince you of the urgency. There's one thing that is just we've got to deal with, and I give people more credit, the people of this country, than, say, the mob and the media does. They're not showing America Joe Biden's cognitive decline. They're not questioning Joe Biden and pushing him. Okay, well, you're going to pack the courts, Joe. What do you mean you're not going to answer? What do you mean they don't deserve to know? Imagine if Donald Trump ever said that. They are not going to push him. Where do you stand on statehood for D.C. and elsewhere? They're not going to push him on, amnesty is the reason that you want Americans to pay for health care for 15 million people, because ultimately you view that as a huge, massive influx voting block for the Democratic Party, and that if these things are implemented, it will be the biggest power grab ever in 150 years, where you basically in America then would have one party rule. They're going to let him get away with it. Now, the president at his massive rally last night in Florida, responded to the weak, frail, the cognitively struggling, he's beginning to seem corpse-like Joe Biden.
As you may remember, I got in trouble when we were running against the senator who was a Mormon. The governor, okay? And I took him on.
You know, we have to come together. That's why I'm running. I'm running as a proud Democrat for the Senate.
Sleepy Joe Biden, not a nice guy, by the way, I have to be honest. Not a nice guy. You know, people say, oh, he's such a nice guy. He had a very bad day today. You saw what happened. If I ever had a day like he had today, they'd say it's over. It's over. We have somebody running who's not 100%. He's not 80%. He's not 60%. We can't have this. As a country, we can't have it.
All right. We can't have it. That is a good point. Anyway, joining us now, a friend of the program, our friend Sean Spicer is back with us, former White House press secretary. And by the way, he kind of just stepped back into the White House briefing room with his own show. That he's now doing successfully on Newsmax. We're very proud of him. I had the honor of actually being one of his early guests. He's authored this new book. It's on Amazon.com, bookstores everywhere as of today. It's called Leading America, President Trump's Commitment to People and Patriotism and Capitalism. Mr. Spicer, I don't know. I think it's all because you did Dancing with the Stars. I think it just took your career and brought it to a whole new level. Whatever that green thing was that you wore with white pants, I can't believe you wore that.
Dude, I think it's still there etched in the front of your head.
Do you remember when you came on the show immediately afterwards? I said, listen, I don't usually give fashion tips. By the way, Linda's laughing, our producer, because I'm nobody to give fashion tips. The only thing I'm fashion.
As I was getting ready to do that show with you, I thought, you know what, I've taken crap from my wife, my mom, my kids, but I just don't want to hear it from Sean Hannity.
You know, listen, I give you credit because people don't know what a wicked sense of humor you have. But, you know, the one thing that I will say, and you know this about the president, and I know that there's so many people that have stuck knives in this guy's back. I mean, I've never seen anybody scarred like President Trump is, but this is his passion. He lives this 24/7, 365. And what you see in terms of the guy that's out there fighting and getting things done, that's who he is. And then nobody wants to talk about Joe, who's struggling mightily, and they don't even ask a question about it.
Well, a couple things there. I think, one, the guy has a sense of humor. I've had some of the best laughs I've had with him. And
so
it's funny. So many people, he when he tells a joke, I mean, it takes up the room. But, you know, the other thing is, to your point, you just played these clips, Sean. I feel like the press is almost ashamed that they're asking questions. They're like, Mr. Biden, we hate to bother you with this, but would you be packing the court? And he's like, I'm not going to answer that. And they're like going, sorry, I apologize. Let me come up with another softball after your nap. It's unbelievable the embarrassment that the press corps has at asking him a perfectly reasonable, normal question about what his position is.
You know, and this is so basic and fundamental and so different, by the way, than what, say, you've experienced or Sarah Sanders has experienced or now Kayleigh McEnany has experienced or, you know, anybody that's ever done that job. I mean, I don't know how you withstood being a press secretary. I would go nuts in that job. I actually wish I could do it for like a day or 2 days, although they'd boycott the session. They probably wouldn't show up.
The funny thing is, you know, I remember one of my first days in office, you came down to visit, and it was like
I remember.
The press corps freaked out because Sean Hannity was in the press briefing room. What did this mean? I mean, they melt down at the simplest things. But I'll tell you, writing these books has been like my version of therapy. It's allowed me to get out what's going on in journalism, how things have been covered, how this White House has changed things. For me, that is my ability to sort of get it out, because otherwise, you're right. If you don't have an outlet when this is going on, then you're going to either have a breakdown or go nuts because the pressure and the intensity is there. And so for me, the outlet has been able to sort of put pen to paper and write out and explain what's been going on, you know, through and how the press corps covers things, why they cover what they do, why the president's able to do what he's able to do. And that's sort of been the one relief that I have, at least, because, you know. Yeah,
my relief is called Tito's, Titos, vodka, which, by the way, is American-made down in Texas. But you know, look, I've done this such a long time, and I can't give you a date or a time or a when that it kind of happened, but whatever switch you're supposed to have that's supposed to care about what other people think about you, I don't have that switch anymore. Let me ask you this, because 3 weeks from today is Election Day. And I know so many people get so deflated. They see the polls. You were there in 2016. We're seeing almost identical numbers in polling and methodology, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, at this point, you know, I think we're working with Matt Towery and John McLaughlin. I'm going to commission my own polls for the Sean Hannity radio show, because I'm sick and tired of reading polls that I know are total BS. You know, they're either heavily biased towards Democrats, or it's registered voters, not likely voters, or they have so many different questions in there that no reasonable person will ever spend the time to ever work with the pollster to get to the questions that matter anyway. And then there's a whole group of people that are not going to tell any pollster, any place, anywhere, any time that they're voting for Donald Trump.
Yeah, all of those things are right, and that's the thing. But look, here's the deal. You wouldn't see Nancy Pelosi talking about the 25th Amendment if they thought this race was as far ahead for them as the polls suggest. They're worried about it. They know it. And I think, frankly, at the end of the day, the Trump RNC ground and data operation game are what's going to keep this thing. I mean, this is what's going to take it over the top. The ability to knock on these doors, get the right people to the polls, get them to vote is crucial.
The right people, by the way, is every single person listening to our voice right now, our voices now. That's the right people. Everybody,
Sean,
it's all hands on deck.
You played the clip before. I don't think people understand. If Joe Biden wins, there's no question in my mind that he takes the Senate with him. That means for 2 years, unabated, they have the House, the Senate, and Biden. And so if I hear another person tell me about a tweet, and I go, for 2 years, we're going to gun it toward socialism. And so if you don't get what it's at stake, not just you, but your colleagues, your friends, your coworkers, and explain to them, guys, for 2 years, you are going to wake up and not recognize what the country we have left. So it is crucial that not only we get out and vote, but we make the case to everyone that we can, because I am tired of the excuses of I didn't like this tweet or I didn't like what was said. And I go, really? How did that tweet change your life? Because I know that, for instance, when the president cut your taxes, that allowed you to, you know, put a little bit more away, help for the kids, whatever it is. The president's policies are working.
I think that's the strongest case yet, and I think one that I think the president's going to go out there. He is like a machine. I mean, what we saw in Sanford, Florida last night, I mean, I don't know how many people were there, but it looks like tens of thousands to me. I mean, the place was packed. Everywhere he goes, the place is packed. You have Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They show up somewhere, like 50 people show up. But you do have, look, it's now become institutional. You have the media mob, which is 99% of the media. They just hate him every second, minute, hour of every day. They'll never report a good thing that Donald Trump does. Then you got the Democratic Party establishment. They hate all things Donald Trump. It's like Alka-Seltzer. They bubble fizz at the sight of him. And then you can add to that institutional list, these never Trumper, but I'm a Republican, Joe Scarborough types, and I don't, I just wish Joe would stop telling people he's a conservative. He's not. You can't be a conservative and vote for Joe Biden. You cannot do it.
You can't be a conservative. You can't be a conservative like these guys at the Lincoln Project and support Chuck Schumer being the majority leader. They're trying to take out a Republican Senate. It's gone way beyond Donald Trump. But, Sean, I'm going to tell you this. The book that you mentioned at the top, Leading America, it's out today. And the thing is, I walk through corporate America, academia, Hollywood, big tech, all of them, and walk through the headwinds that conservatives face in each one of these industries and explain how and why it's happening. People, every time I give someone the book to pre-read as they were helping me, they have an aha moment, and they go, I never understood why that happened the way it did.
All right, quick break. We'll come back more with Sean Spicer. As we continue with Sean Spicer, his brand new book is out, Leading America, President Trump's Commitment to People, Patriotism, and Capitalism. Answer your own question. How did you have all of these institutional forces align against one person? And when you really look at Trump's record, everything that he did as president is what he said he was going to do, which, frankly, to me is refreshing as somebody that's been doing this. I really must be nuts for 33 years.
Because here's the deal. The one thing that Trump did is he didn't need or want them, right? And the problem is that if you are a member of big tech, if you are a member of big media, of corporate America, you're used to getting sucked up to by the top guys. You have both parties, to be honest with you. And the thing with Trump is he said, look, I'm going for a ride. I'm going to make America better. If you want to come, great. I could use your help, but I don't need you. And for all of these people who have huge egos, and they were so used to being sucked up to, the president said, I don't need you anymore. You're glad to come with me, but here's the agenda. Here's how we're going to move the country forward. And as soon as and you see that all the time now, a lot of these foreign policy folks, the president has upended all of their work that they've done with their massive PowerPoint presentations and meetings in Geneva. And he said, we're getting the country back on the right track. And that undermines all of these folks, the think tanks and everywhere else who spend a ton of time and a lot of money creating policies to do the same old thing all over again with different color-coded charts.
Well, I think it's a great analysis. I just got my copy. I'm going to try and find some time between now and Election Day to get it read and talk more about it. Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary, new book out today, Amazon.com, Hannity.com, now bookstores everywhere. And it's called Leading America, President Trump's Commitment to People, Patriotism, and Capitalism. And it's all on the ballot in 3 short weeks. Sean Spicer, great to have you back on the program. Best of luck, and thank you for hosting me. I don't do many shows, by the way. You got a rare interview.
And it was believe me, it was my honor. That was a big deal, and I appreciate your kindness. No,
I'm teasing. You're a good friend, and I won't make fun of the white pants and that green neon green whatever thing you were wearing that day. Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna get you.
Oh my gosh! And I'm no one to give fashion tips except for my Tecovas boots.
I'm getting you.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna burn it in my fireplace. That's where it's headed. All right, sir. Congratulations. 800-941-SEAN, toll free.